On Saturday the 16th of September, members of the Airfields of Britain Conservation Trust attended the unveiling of two of its memorial markers in Orkney. Organised in conjunction with the Bursay Heritage Trust and the Aircraft Recovery Group Orkney and Shetland, the memorial markers were erected at the former RAF airfields of Skeabrae and Twat, also known as HMS Tern. Those attending met in the former fire station at HMS Tern for a briefing before travelling to Skeabrae for the first unveiling. The unveiling was performed by Philip Yatman, whose father had served at Skeabrae with the Royal Norwegian Air Force.
Just a few words of introduction. The way this all came about was the Bursay Heritage Trust got a lease for the remains of Twat Airfield from Orkney Islands Council in about 2005. And we, the Bursay Heritage Trust, had great plans. We were going to renovate the control tower, and that is still a great plan. Shortly after that, we invited Argos, that's the Airfield Recovery Group, Orkney and Shetland, to join with us in this project. And we have great ambitions for this whole area to turn it into a heritage centre for World War II aircraft activity in Orkney. It's obviously a work of love because there's not a lot of money, but we're going to try and raise funds to do some major repairs to some of the buildings. 2 years ago, we made a contact with Mr. Bannerman because we saw on his website that they're interested in the restoration of airfields, and we thought, there's a group that we should tap into and speak to. So we made contact with Mr. Bannerman, and then we found out that one of the objects of the Airfields of Britain Conservation Trust is the placing of memorial markers to commemorate all old airfields. And hence, that's why we're here today. There are two memorials to be unveiled, one at Skeabrae and one here at Twat Airfield. So that's a wee bit of background for you all. Can I invite Mr. Bannerman to say a few words, as he is the main sponsor of this event.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kenneth Bannerman. I'm the Director General, founder and leader of the Airfields of Britain Conservation Trust, or as we call it for short, ABCT. And I'm here with my colleagues, Office Manager Alison Kerr and Research Assistant John Groves. So any questions you need to ask, feel free to ask the three of us. Just to give you a quick background of how the charity came about and what we do, as Mr. Shearer has already alluded to. The charity formed in 2006 after many years of preparation. Indeed, one could say that the charity genesis started way back as early as 1973, when I was, dare I say it, not even quite 10 years old. And even at that young age, it just got me thinking about how terribly badly our airfields in Britain, and not forgetting all the personnel who served at them, were being treated. Because these places are hugely important to every single one of us. Not just militarily and historically, of course, but also socially. Quite simply, we just can't properly function without airfields in Britain in so many aspects of our lives, work and play, even right down to the most vital aspect of all for every single one of us, our health. They are that important. So how we go about the charity, we operate in three main fronts. First of all, as has been said, we erect commemorative memorials at disused airfields across the UK. If you type in on any search engine, even just the letters ABCT, you'll find our very popular 3,000-page website. Indeed, dare I say it, it's officially one of the most popular in the world. And we're definitely making a real difference to the benefit and advancement of everyday society. So when it comes to these memorials like the two we'll be erecting today, and bear in mind incidentally that when we're finished back here, that will be our 66th memorial. And with a bit of luck by the end of this year, we'll have over 100. So these are proving very, very effective. This was again after many years of research, just speaking with people, going right back to certainly at least 1980s. And they are unquestionably making a real difference just on their own in raising public awareness about how important our airfields are. Remember, these are disused airfields we're commemorating. Then, aside from that too, we also, one of the two other main things we do, we also try and help save airfields, whether, say, from closing or being demolished. And by our calculations to date, we have now played at least a significant, if not leading role, along with, of course, many other elements, in helping to save 31 airfields across the UK. Quick example, last year at Shrewsbury in Shropshire, we, among others, helped save 2 World War I hangars from being demolished. Now, very important, of course, but at least as important, in doing so, we even enabled 30 people to not lose their jobs. Now that's making a real difference in people's lives. And again, this is what our airfields are all about, just trying to help society. And then lastly, of course, being a charity, it's all about helping people, and it's quite amazing what we've enabled in that respect through helping, say, young people with their studies, tracing people whether they're dead or alive and so on. There's too much to mention, but again, we're just helping people right across the board. But it goes without saying that our airfields are phenomenally important. But sadly, until just fairly recently, I would say, maybe about 20 years ago maybe, people just, whether maybe inadvertently, perhaps weren't just recognising how enormously important these places are to every single one of us. They've won wars, they've saved lives, they've helped people, they've revolutionised everyday society for the betterment of us all. And it's such a shame how so many of our airfields have just faded away over the years. And we can't afford to lose our history. So we're doing everything we humanly can for ABC, to do with ABCT, with helping our airfields, and of course all the communities like here. And as I say, we're really, really pleased and happy to be able to help all the local groups here in creating 2 more of these full-sized granite memorials, which incidentally, in case you're wondering, they are top quality granite memorials. They're made of Indian granite, so which is the best type of granite in the world. Therefore, thank you very much for your time, and please ask if there's anything you need following these 2 events, and of course naturally we'll still remain very much in touch with the area. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bannerman. We'll be calling on you, rest assured. I think it's also significant here today that we have 2 World War II veterans with us. Celia Pemberton, or Celia Green, and Walter Crosby. They were here in the Second World War, so I think we should award them a round of applause. And we also have Mr. Philip Yapman and his wife, who come from Denmark. I think it's right to say that Philip's father was at Skeabrae with the Norwegian, not Air Force?
Yes, Norwegian Air Force.
It was called Norwegian Air Force.
Yes, Royal Norwegian Air Force.
I get a wee bit confused with how they call it.
Yes.
But I think he's come from a long distance for this very special occasion. Thank you very much. Now the logistics. Any logistics officers among this crowd here? We've got, the programme is that we're going to go from here to Skeabrae and unveil the memorial marker over there. And once we've finished with that, we'll come back here to HMS Tern and unveil the marker here. After that, there will be tea, coffee and cream scones, and we'll splice the main bricks. So now, we're right on the, at Skeabrae, we're right on the edge of the road. So if we could do some car sharing to go there, to reduce the number of cars and keep as much off the road as we can, I think we can get into the field road for parking. That'll be very good. We have 2 minibuses, and we hope that our main guests will remain behind and we'll go over there in one of the minibuses. We'll go over there now, make a start, and hopefully we'll get over there by 11 o'clock. Thank you very much indeed. You all know what, I think most of you know where Skeabrae is, what it was, etc. But anyway, to give you a bit of background information, Andy Hollandray will give you a wee bit more information about Skeabrae Airfield. Andy?
Thanks, Keith. I might just come and join you, so I'm facing the group a bit better. Well, good morning everybody. I feel something of a fraud standing here today in the company of far more eminent historians, but it's never stopped me in the past, it won't stop me today. I was asked to say a few words, a very brief bit of background history. And the natural bias towards the Navy, since both my parents served in the Royal Navy, I need to mention first of all that this airfield was intended for the Navy in the first place. It was in fact built by the Admiralty, but then they felt there was a pressing need to get the RAF in with some fighters early in 1940, particularly after a couple of very sharp air raids, March and April 1940. So, almost complete, the airfield was given to the RAF, and the Navy started building again just up the road, and that became HMS Tern. And more on that story a little later, but not much more. Now, all sorts of squadrons were based here, not just RAF, the Navy flew from here as well. It's actually the Navy that drew first blood flying from here, and brought a German plane down on Christmas Day, 1940. Seen flying over Ness Battery while they're having their Christmas dinner near Stromness, and then came up this way. The patrol 804 Squadron just landed from patrol, and the Junkers 88 was sighted. Up went the patrol again, and they brought it down as Flotterston, just down the road in Sandwich. And it was also the first plane brought down by American-made planes, by British pilots. So, another great first for Orkney, of which there are several. They were given a telegram of congratulations from their colleagues at Hatston, the Navy airfield just this side of Kirkwall, HMS Sparrowhawk. And it read, heartiest congratulations on your Nazi turkey. But of course there were casualties, including 2 from the Norwegian squadron, in which Mr. Yatman's father served here as well. There were pilots here from New Zealand, Australia, all over all the world here, and a vital part of the setup in Orkney. And Scapa Flow, of course, such a vital naval base for the Navy. And as Mr. Bannerman was saying, that the war couldn't have been won without these airfields. Scapa Flow couldn't have continued without these airfields either, so it's a vital part of the whole setup. So, and that's really all I have to say for now. So.
Thank you very much. Mr. Bannerman, over to you.
Well, we're very honoured to be here today to honour what is now ABCT's 65th memorial, and we're particularly honoured that Mr. Yatman and his wife will come here today, thinking about, because your father is served here in the Royal Navy. So once you like to say some words, please, Mr. Young?
Yes.
Got a book here, but don't worry, it's, I won't be using the whole, all the pages. Well, it's almost 76 years to the day that my father, Flight Lieutenant Philip Yatman, first arrived on Orkney and here at Skeabrae, together with 331 Squadron, Royal Norwegian Airfields. To be here today is in many ways quite emotional, quite an emotional experience for me. I've never been to Orkney, but Father spoke of it very warmly. I realised, for instance, that he would have spent his 37th birthday here at Skeabrae on the 24th of September 1941. Before the war, he had spent some time in Norway. He was English, with Scottish ancestry. He had a Granny MacGregor in Edinburgh. So it was quite natural for him to ask to join the Norwegians, who were forming a squadron at Catterick. 331 Squadron was soon moved to Castletown, and in September 41, when they became operational, they came here to Skeabrae. Considered to be too old to train as a pilot, he became the squadron's intelligence officer, and with only a few breaks followed them through the war, returning to Norway with King Haakon aboard the RMS Andes in 1945. My father, like many others involved in the war, spoke very little of his experiences. However, when he did say something, it was usually about Orkney. He loved it here. He was interested in the Norse connection, and for instance, he spoke of the warm red stone of the beautiful cathedral in Kirkwall. Such a contrast to the cold grey of those further south. And unlike the young pilots who were eager for more action, he was sad to leave in May 1942, when he was posted south to North near London. I remember him telling how the young Norwegians found it difficult to follow the RAF rules and regulations, and that unfortunately there were several unnecessary accidents. Though they were brave, they were sometimes reckless. He once told me of returning from leave abroad, aboard a Wellington, when the pilot decided to fly as low as possible over the loch in order to see the spray and the wake that the propellers would make in the water. They were all so fascinated with what was going on that they failed to notice the mountain at the end of the loch, and they only just made it over the top. He was able to return to Orkney. He also told me, he said, they suffer from wind on Orkney. And he told me how the Spitfires were tethered to the ground here at Skeabrae when the wind blew hard. As the wind rose, so would the planes, lifting slightly off the ground, with their propellers slowly rotating. I think the Spitfires were also quite eager for more action. The Norwegians who arrived at Skeabrae in September 41 had come to Britain in many different ways, some by the Shetland bus, some had taken a tortuous route via Sweden, and others had stolen German planes in occupied Norway and flown across the North Sea. And a couple of Danish pilots who joined the Norwegians here at Skeabrae also took a light plane across the North Sea, a very risky affair. So reckless they may have been, but they were certainly brave men. Now I'd like to finish by some of my father's words from a book which my sister had put together from his papers. And I'll say it in Norwegian first. Til minne av alle de som forlot deres hjem i både Norge og Danmark, for å kjempe side om side med andre i frihetens navn, og særlig til de som døde i denne kampen. And for those of you who didn't quite understand Norwegian or are a little bit rusty with your Norse, it's in memory of all those who left their homes in Norway and Denmark to fight side by side with the other lovers of freedom, and especially for those who died in battle. And of course, the Norwegians were not the only ones at Skeabrae. They relieved the 253 Squadron, and 801 Squadron joined them at Skeabrae here at the same time. So there were 2 squadrons at that time. And then when they left, 164 Squadron RAF took over from them. So importantly, very importantly, this stone is dedicated to all of those who served here at Skeabrae. And with that, it gives me great pleasure to unveil the stone in honor of all who served here at Skeabrae. Thank you. Memory of the fallen, Lord,
thank you very much, folks. That's the end of part 1. Part 2 will resume at Airfield when we get everybody transported.